What up, people? You know, it's another live. Yo, I actually been missing in action, man. I don't even, man, I'm looking all crazy. Got a broken glasses here. I'm low key blind. It's already starting crazy, man. But, yeah, man, like I was about to say, I've been missing in action, but, you know, we're going to get back on the content trail and we actually going to get with it, man. But, I had to come on live, man. I've been scrolling on my phone and I saw this story about Rodrigo Bentancur and what has transpired. And you know what? It's a conversation that's been having for a really long time that is I will say that they have been trying to eradicate this issue for the longest, and it is something that keeps rearing its head each and every time, you know, mainly with black players. But we know that racism doesn't start and stop at one set of people. Like, it's all across the board, right? And it's something that I think it's been a poor attempt in trying to eradicate from FIFA. But you know what? Rodrigo Bentancur had made comments in regards to his teammates. And yeah, man, my man been slapped with a goddamn 7-match ban. And yo, it's crazy. It's crazy when you really think about it. But let me just get into the story, man. Y'all can see, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Y'all can see this story in its entirety. Let me, don't worry, I got y'all. Share my screen here real quick. So yeah. So it says Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur has been banned, or handed, I should say, a 7-game ban and £100,000 fine by the English Football Association for using abusive language and bringing the game into disrepute during a Spanish language interview on Uruguayan television in June. Now, the ban applies only to English club football and not European competition, meaning he can still compete against Roma and Rangers in the Europa League. He will miss Premier League clashes with Manchester City. Big game to miss. Chelsea and Liverpool, which is crazy. Top teams that are vying for the Premier League title at the moment, as well as Carabao Cup quarterfinal against Manchester City, which, if we are to keep it 100, is Tottenham's best chance to win a trophy this season. And for him to miss a game like that, man, it's just show you the depth of which this is going to cost his team. So the charge by the FA stemmed from a clip posted on social media after Bentancur was interviewed on Uruguayan television program Por la Camiseta. Host Rafa Catello asked Bentancur for a Spurs player's shirt, to which he replied, Sonny's heung-min son, that is. If you're not familiar who that is, that's this gentleman over here who is of Korean descent. Adding it could be Sonny's cousins too, as they all look the same. Wild statement to make, bro. Why would you even say that? Yo, I'm not really laughing per se at what was said. I'm just laughing at the candidness. And you know what? Listen, I've been in sports locker room, you know, and you know the back and forth that you usually have with a teammate is different than, you know what I'm saying, like how you would speak in society or outside of them locker room walls. And I'm sure they've said way worse things to each other within that locker room. And sometimes stuff like that, like I use myself as an example, right? I was in the military, and I'm talking about some of the jokes we would say to each other, and some of the jokes that we'll say just in general is, man, if that ever step outside of those walls, we all getting canceled. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the environment, and I'm sure that's the environment, and I'm sure, which I've also read, that he has spoken to Son and he has apologized, and Son was like, bro, I get it. Because I'm sure they have that relationship where he can say something along those lines that is obviously racist, but you know what I'm saying? It's not to be taken with the intent to like hurt him, but it's just a joke. But what you say to, say, your brother, saying it to a stranger, saying it to somebody that you're not really like cool with like that, can be taken out of context. And this is just a case of, other people hearing what you said and got offended. The person who it was intended for didn't even take it as an offense, but that's just society on a whole, man. You just got to be careful with what you say. And you know what? He was in his native country. He probably was just speaking candidly, obviously speaking his first language is Spanish. So he thought, in a relaxed environment and not remembering that whatever you say and do, even outside of the locker room, can be used against you. I know that ain't the law, but that's just the court of public opinion, and that's gonna always hit you. And it's just, not say sad, but it's just the reality of what it is. So he said he denied the initial FA charge according to the statement issued on Monday and can appeal the ruling. The FA said it was further alleged that this constitutes an aggravated breach as it included a reference, whether expressed or implied, to nationality and or race and or ethnic origin. Now, in a news conference during the ongoing international break, Bentancur told reporters that he was braced for the punishment. As part of the decision, he also has to attend face-to-face education sessions, which have to be complied by March 2025. Now, the Uruguay international apologized on June 20th in a post on Instagram for the remark that he said, which was a very bad joke. 5 days later, Son, Tottenham's captain, said that he had accepted his teammate's apology. He made a mistake. He knows this, and he has apologized. Lolo, which I'm guessing that's his nickname, Bentancur, would not mean to ever intentionally say something offensive. We are brothers, and nothing has changed at all, Son said in a post on social media. We're past this. We're united, and we'll be back together in preseason to fight for our club as one. Yeah, so like I said, man, that's just locker room talk. And listen, it is what it is, man. That's how it is when you're in that environment. And it's just some things you just got to take with a grain of salt, man. And that's kind of just what it is when you're in that environment. Like, you can't really help what is said at times, because people just, when you in that comfort, when you in that relaxed state, when you in that, we just chilling, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. And like I said, some of the jokes I've said, I'm not just use even myself. Some of the jokes I've said, man, to my own brothers, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking brothers in arms or my actual blood brothers. Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled in a heartbeat, So it's just a case of it is what it is. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think. How would you have handled this situation if you were placed in that position? And I know it. Listen, the way that society is set up nowadays, man, everything that you say and do can be used against you. So I just totally understand where he's coming from. I'm not condoning what was said. I think at times people do need to, get a re-education of their thought process. And also, like I've said before, some of the jokes I've said before, I'm joking that, yeah, I would have got canceled for it. But we're talking about, I've been out of the military about going on 8 years now. So, we're talking about younger me, and the things that I would have said back then, of course, me growing and being a little bit more mature now, I definitely wouldn't have said it now. So it's a growing process. And we know that people do things that, what you do at 21, you may not do at 31 and 41 and so on and so forth. So I totally get where he's coming from. And listen, we move, because at the end of the day, life goes on, man. Life goes on. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But, going back over the matches that he's going to be missing, though, we're talking about games against Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. That's crazy, man. Just to know that, not to say you let your team down, but you did let your team down, because, of course, he has been one of the staples inside Tottenham's midfield this season. He's probably been one of the first names on the team sheet. And for him to be missing them games, man, it's just gonna be crazy. And when I really think about it, man, talking about a teammate that not like it should matter who you talk about, but speaking about a teammate like Son that probably viewed by most rivals as probably the guy people hate the least. Like he's such a likable guy. He's like the Sons of this world, the Contes of this world. I know he doesn't play in the Premier League anymore, but you know what I'm saying? Like to some degree, Saka. I know that's kind of from my team, but I think for the most part, in terms of people clown Saka, but in terms of liking him, like he has a likable personality. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Who else? Those three names I could just think off the top of my head that just have like it's just hard to hate them. You know, they're just there. You know, so it's like making fun of Son, which I'm sure people make fun of Conte too when he was on Chelsea. You know, it just haven't came out. You know, people make fun of Saka all the time. You know, so it's just one of those things that. How serious would you take it? Like it's an obvious joke, you know, but like I said, you know, certain jokes, what could be funny to one person may not be funny to the other person. So it's totally understandable. And it's the world we live in now, you know, and I'm not going down the road of, oh, the world is getting soft and, oh, we need to, you know, because I know at times like people go over the top all the time with jokes, you know, because that's when you're in a state of like brotherhood, when you literally in that setting. I'm talking about locker room setting, right? Everybody is chill. Everybody is like, yo, you know, we just here. You know, I don't mean no harm to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do get it. I genuinely do get it. You know what I'm saying? So I do get that it's people on the outside that looked at this and was like, yeah, we can't let this ride, you know? And FIFA has been doing or trying to do a good job of, you know, bettering how football is viewed on a whole when it comes to racism, right? You know, you see that they still do the kneeling in the Premier League. You still see that, you know, they have the banners and the posters around stadiums and racism. And usually this is curtailed towards black players because those are the ones that get the blatant racist abuse. But like everybody receives some form of racism regardless of race, right? So I do understand that they had to do something regarding this, you know. It's just unfortunate if you are a Tottenham fan, you know. I would want to put my bias into this and be like, good for your team. But just taking my bias self out of it and just speaking from a pure footballing perspective with a neutral eye lens or a neutral lens, this is bad for Tottenham, man. And especially for him missing the games that he's going to be missing. It's just crazy. But listen, it is what it is, man. I'm sure they'll survive. They have players that can fill in that role. Sarr is a player that comes to mind. Basuma, I know he just going to have to step up at this point as well. So they're just going to have to make do with their squad that they have. And you just got to keep on pushing, man. You know, he is a player that sometimes get plagued with the injury bug. He has been injury-free this season, as far as I know. So, you know, but missing 7 games, man. 7 games within the FA. So he has gotten a bly in terms of playing in the European games, but in terms of the FA, speaking about the FA, we're talking about games within the Premier League and the League Cup. He's going to be banned for those games. But should have been talking shit. I just remember that Cat Williams, man. Should have been talking shit, you know? But, I mean, they're brothers, man. They're brothers at the end of the day. But, yeah, man, it's all good. It's all love, though. Well, moving on to, we're gonna be previewing the Jamaica game. Jamaica play USA today. Let's remember that. Hold on. Jamaica play USA today. You know, we're gonna be coming back on, you know, later on today. We're gonna do a watch along today, man. We're gonna do a watch. Yeah, I just thought of that. We're gonna do a watch along today for that Jamaica USA game, man. If y'all don't know, man, um, I am American, but by way of Jamaica. So listen, I'll be real on this topic. This ain't a hard choice to me. You know, yes, I do consider myself American, but I'm Jamaican born. So yeah, my loyalty lands or veers towards in sports for sure, lean toward my country of birth. But in terms of who I think is gonna win, shoot, let's just look at the last game that was played. Hold on, share my screen with y'all. Yeah, man. So the last game that was played, the USA won 1-0 with a goal in the fifth minute by Ricardo Pepe, and Holgate then got himself sent off in that game as well. Horrible game for Jamaica, to be honest. Too defensive. A game that wasn't a pretty watch if you are a Jamaican fan. USA, scored early and obviously just got the job done. Nothing to write home about. The game was played in Kingston, Jamaica. Yeah, those fans. And if you watch CONCACAF, you already know that the powerhouses of CONCACAF is the United States and Mexico, with Costa Rica and Canada of recently have been, interchanging between the third and the fourth best team. Jamaica hasn't been to a World Cup since 1998, and haven't really even came close to going to a World Cup since then. And there was times, maybe in 2006, if I can remember, where the showing was a little bit better. But yeah, of recent times, haven't done anything of note within the CONCACAF region. And if you want to keep it real, maybe Mexico has been the best showing in terms of on an international stage. Within CONCACAF, I think the furthest that the United States have reached in a World Cup, on the men's side, of course, have been the quarterfinals. But even they themselves just haven't been a really good showing in a CONCACAF. When you speak about CONCACAF teams, haven't really been anything of note, man. The players that CONCACAF produces across the world as well. We have players that do have good showings in the Premier League, and of course, Christian Pulisic is doing his thing over there in Italy. But now, of note, again, Mexico has probably been the best team in terms of producing world beater talents, across the whole world. So, yeah, just looking at going over this game. Yeah, see the lineup real quick. That was kind of key. Now, the lineup for the United States was Matt Turner in goal. We had Tim Ream and McKenzie in the defense. Antoine Robinson, which has been a baller, especially this season for Fulham, which is probably due for a move, man. If I'm not mistaken, he's gonna be moving to a big club pretty soon. I would think. Probably not your Real Madrid or Barcelona of this world, but you know what? For a team like, I don't know if he will fit into the Real Madrid system, but a team like Real Madrid do need a left back. Barcelona, I know they've been looking at Davies from Bayern, so they could also be in the market for a left back. But is he gonna replace Balde Robinson? That's probably a stretch. But a team, I think a Big Six team in the Premier League could snatch up Robinson. Arsenal probably could snatch up Robinson. And I think Arsenal like to use their fullbacks to invert, and they also like that versatile profile. Robinson is more of the tyranny type, which if you've been following Arsenal, you know that they've been trying to get rid of Tierney. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my you know what for Robinson going to Arsenal. But yeah, the squad of the United States, man. On paper, when you really look at it, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a squad that really like, oh man, this is a bad boy squad. It's a squad that should get the job done in CONCACAF for sure. Because the CONCACAF teams and even Mexico, I was speaking glowingly about Mexico recently or just a while ago, but even Mexico ain't been doing nothing, you know, of late. But that's just the level of competition in the CONCACAF region, man. It just is what it is. But we see the likes of Weston McKennie, play for a big team like Juventus. Of course, Pulisic, Musa is a very good player as well. But nobody of note that you would say are world beaters. And on the Jamaican side, yeah, outside of Leon Bailey and probably Damari Gray, if you're familiar with him, this Jamaican team is not anything of you know glowing substance as well. Now Andre Blake is a bad boy within the MLS, but it is the MLS at the end of the day, and I'm just keeping it real, man. When I say that the level of competition in CONCACAF is not very good. This Jamaican team is not a team that is going to make much noise, and yeah, hopefully they are hoping to make the World Cup next time come around, but the chances of them making it as well really kind of is dependent on the other teams falling off. Just be real, Costa Rica kind of been going through a transition period of, getting the old guard out and, new players coming through. Canada have made a resurgence in the region. So those two teams are the two teams that, the four is the top four that goes for CONCACAF. So those two teams are the teams that Jamaica has to overtake in terms of getting a World Cup position. And then you have the likes of Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, teams that are very tricky and could make some noise. So Jamaica is within that region of being the fourth, fifth, maybe sixth best team in the region, with Mexico and the United States being the top two. So the second leg, so the first leg was 1-0 for the United States. The second leg is being played tonight. And like I said, we're going to be doing a watch along. I'm going to do a watch along for the second leg tonight because, let's just look at this team. Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what will be the outcome. The expected outcome really is that Jamaica is gonna lose. It is what it is, man. That's the expected outcome. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen, but they are playing in the United States. Let's see where they're playing at. Let me see. Where are they playing at? Tonight's game is gonna be played. All right. Not really. I know it's in the United States, but it ain't really showing where the game is gonna be playing. I'm sure I could have just Googled it. But let's see if it says it here. Yeah, I'm sure I could have just wait. In St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, so the game gonna be played in Missouri, St. Louis, tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, and We gonna see. We gonna see. But in my opinion, I think yeah, it it the expected outcome is that the United States are gonna easily go through, like I said, Jamaica team apart from say Leon Bailey and Damari Gray, which are their wingers. Um, Nothing of note. Jamaica usually plays when they come up against the bigger teams. It's park the bus city, and I don't see anything from the team. Maybe say an individual performance from the wingers, Damari Gray or Leon Bailey, that could pull through something. You know, them being the X factor of the team could pull off something. And of course, Jamaica have beaten the United States in the past. I believe it's once in the last 20 times that they played, they've beaten them once. Um, and that was from a free kick, I believe. And it was one of those performances where it was just their day. And they've come close a lot of times. It's been close. The games have been close. The United States haven't blown the Jamaican team out the water, which on paper they're supposed to, but they haven't really blown them out the water. So though the tie, it's a two-legged tie, right? And the tie is 1-0 at the moment. So it's not a case where Jamaica is out of it and have no possibility of, pulling through. But listen, from what I've seen from the team, the chances of that happening is very slim. But like I said, though, the topic of today was to speak on the Bentancur issue. What do you think about the issue, man? What do you think? Do you think that this is something that, should have been swept under the rug? Is it something that the punishment fit the crime? Like I said, I know that they've been trying to eradicate the whole racism agenda. They've been making moves. Have they done enough? Some may argue that they haven't, but we're excited to see what may come of this in the future. Is this a step in the right direction for comments like this that have been made? And will we see more punishments for on the field racism in pertaining to, say, fans and players alike? I haven't really seen much of, say, players being hit with bans or, been accused of doing anything racist on the field or even outside of play, but it's mostly been fans. But is it a step in the right direction? Is it something that, we will see more of in the future in terms of harsh bans? Do you think this ban was fitting for the crime? Do you think it was harsh? Do you think it was lenient? Let me know down in the comments. And listen, we are going to be doing these live a little bit more in this format. I've been doing the vertical format before, but we're going to be doing it in these format now. I've been trying to get into finding the best, say, platform to do these things. So we struggle streaming. I ain't gonna front, man. We struggle streaming a little bit, but we gonna be getting better. A baby channel, man. We growing, we learning on the job. But as I get better, you get better, and I try to bring you guys better content each and every time, man. So listen, until next time, I'll see y'all. Be doing a live later on today. We're gonna be doing a live watch along, and we gonna get it, man. So until next time, easy, no man.